France put up a record score as they rediscovered their mojo. My name is Mark, let's talk rugby. Early on, there's a bit of a kicking battle, and Namibia blink first. Van den Berg, he tries to run a kick back, but he gets isolated. Penalty to France. It's a kickable one, but France, they're not here to score in threes tonight. They go to the corner, secure the ball from the line out, get it to Dupont, and he puts on a nice step and then cross kicks to Pinot, who goes over in the corner. Ramos misses the conversion, 5-0. Lobster then kicks dead, and it's a scrum back to France. Central, about 40 odd meters, about 35 to 40 meters out. France, they get it out, and then Jalabert puts a lovely kick out to the left wing to BLBRE. He's kind of running out of space. He could go for like the acrobatic finish and dive into the corner. Instead, he passes it inside to Dante to score. We have a bit of a Timo check just in case, the pass is forward, but it's fine. Ramos converts 12-0. Dupont, he exploits a gap and breaks through it, finds Fiku, and they get to within a few meters of the line. Lauser then blocks an attempted kick, and I think it was Van den Berg. He gets over to win the turnover. Good defense from Namibia there. But it's not long before France are in again. Jalabert involved 3 times in quick succession in a move that sees him, interchanging passes, lovely down the right wing. And then he's got a nice little flick at the back of the hands, and eventually then the ball gets to Olivon and he finishes it off. Just completely cut Namibia open there. Ramos converts for 19-0. Seti then gets pinged for playing the ball on the ground. France kick up the line and they're looking for the bonus point try already. Mauvaka takes the line out, hits his man, and then comes on a nice loop to collect the return. He then gives a lovely reverse pass to Pinot, who's coming, in that gap between him and the tail of the lineout. He goes over in the corner. Ramos converts from the touchline, 26-0. Bonus point wrapped up. And, thinking at this stage we might see a few of the stars taken off at half time. They did take off a few players at half time and then early in the second half as well. France, they go to the corner from a scrum penalty. They give it to Dupont off the top off the top of the line out. He finds Dante, who just comes hard and goes over for his second. Ramos converts for 33-0. Namibia then come forward on a rare foray into French territory, at least, with good attacking position. Some good offloading, Lobster involved. They get Diesel in behind and they win a scrum in the 22. They look to attack off the scrum, but then France turn the ball over. Gelange then goes over for a try, but we have a TMO check. On-field decision is try, but the replay shows it was knocked on. No try and scrum to Namibia. Namibia, they just about scramble the ball out of the back of the scrum. Kick under great pressure. It's actually touched. Gelange then snipes up the side of a ruck and then puts Flamand over to score. Ramos makes it 40-0. Flamand then knocks on, I think it was him, it might have been somebody else, so somebody at least knocks on at the restart and tries to pick the ball up, so gives away a penalty. Namibia kick it to the corner, but then they overthrow the line out and France turn over. A very rare chance for them, and they blew it. And it gets kind of a bit loose before half time. Both teams losing the ball in the middle of the pitch. Then Pinot goes through a gap, draws the cover and puts Dupont over to score. Ramos makes it 47-0. And then, that was with like a minute to go, but still not done for the half. Dupont taps the penalty quickly, runs a little bit forward and puts a great kick over to BLBRE, who collects and scores in the corner. Ramos makes the halftime score 54-0. In the second half then, Ramos kicks a ball dead from his own half. Scrum back to Namibia just outside the 22. They hold on to it for a few phases, but don't make much progress and eventually knock it on. France then look to spread it, but Rousseau, he picks off the pass and has a run in under the post. But we have a TMO check. There is a high hit by Diesel on Dupont, and Diesel, he gets a yellow card, and that goes to the bunker for review. The try gets chalked off. Dupont, he has to go off for an HIA. Didn't look very good, honestly, when he went off. Hopefully he is fine, though. He didn't come back out. You can see why, though. Whether he was going to fail an HIA or not, you're not going to risk him anymore coming back out. So France then to go up the line from the penalty, looking for more tries. Cross kick doesn't come off for them, but they have another penalty advantage. Kick that to the corner. Flamand claims the line out, and then Mo Vaca peels off the maul and puts Coulon over to score. Ramos converts for 61-0. Diesel's yellow card then is upgraded to a red. I think most people saw that coming, and Namibia at this stage are just staring into the abyss. And it's now France's turn to pick off and intercept. Coulon, he gambles, it pays off, and he gets what he thinks is a second, but just like Namibia's try, we have a TMO review. There is a hit off the ball by Wardy on Theron. It's a penalty to Namibia and no try. Namibia then go to the corner. They work it just about to the line, but then sloppy play at the ruck, and they're forced back about 10 or 15 meters, and then back even further. They knock on then, and France get a scrum. Pinot then completes his hat-trick as France just slice through Namibia again. Ramos makes it 68-0. Namibia, they come forward. They're on the attack in the 22. They're carrying well, but there's a collision, and it leaves Baudon needing treatment, and the game is stopped. Woki has to come back on. Baudon doesn't reappear. Namibia, after the scrum restart, they're going backwards, but there is an no-arms tackle by Wardy, and they get a penalty. Wardy actually gets warned because he gave away two per penalties in quick succession. Namibia, they go up the line from the penalty, go to the maul, but France, they're able to sack it and turn the ball over. France then win a penalty up the other end. They go to the corner. They look to spread it, but Grayling picks off the pass. He breaks. He doesn't have the pace. He's getting closed down, so he decides to kick. Jaminet overtakes him, gets to the ball first. France recycle the ball. Then they get it out to Pinot, and then he finds BLBRE, who does have the pace. He breaks on the outside and then cuts inside to go over to score. Ramos converts for 75-0, and it's now just too easy for France. They get it to the wing where there's plenty of space. Olivon, he breaks. He's got BLBRE outside him, but doesn't need him. Just kind of shows on the ball and then turns inside, goes over to score. Ramos makes it 82-0. Then there's time for Jaminet to add another try, and I thought that was going to be the last one, but that try then with Ramos' conversion makes it 89-0. Another decent move for that. But then France right to death. They also get a penalty try. Benaid gets a yellow card as well, even though the game is pretty much over. We just have the restart to go. But penalty try makes it 96-0. France can't do anything from the restart. Thankfully for Namibia, they didn't concede 100 points. They came very close though. 96-0, and a record for France in terms of score and winning margin. So from here, France really looked great tonight, and in this kind of form, you wonder whether Italy, who are next up, will give them as close a game as they did in the Six Nations. It was only 5 points in there or something in the Six Nations, but France just looked so good tonight. And I think the fact that even though it was there were a lot of changes for the Uruguay game. They obviously got a bit of a telling off after that, and they were just fired up tonight. And Namibia just had no answer at all in defence of them. And for the few chances that they did have in attack, they couldn't do anything with it. France look irresistible at the moment.